Welcome friends, I am Amit Chaudhary, I am a part of Career Planner talent team, and needless to say, download our app and subscribe to our YouTube channel and share. So today we are going through the second round of communication skill and we are taking care of interview classes. We are looking at how to perform an interview. If you remember, I have already presented to you the first part of the interview skill, which is I have shown you a video, a clip from a movie, Pursuit of Happiness. And we talked about various traits and characteristics and adjectives that you should use while speaking in an interview. Today we are going through the part 2, the second part of the interview skill, and we will be looking at different questions that's required to be somewhere you need to master these skills, these questions, because these are the primary questions which they ask in an interview. So first question is, tell me about yourself. This is probably this is one question which appears in around 80% of the interviews, because as you get inside a room, the interviewer panel, actually the panel wants to take out some time to go through your resume, and meanwhile they ask you this question. This question can be rephrased in different aspects. They can ask you, tell me about yourself, or they can ask you, tell me something which is not there in your resume, or they may ask you that walk us through your resume, or they may ask you why you are fit for this job. This could be the first question. So all these questions require the same sort of explanation, which is tell me about yourself. So let's read what's written here. The answer is, I am really energetic and a great communicator. Working in sales for 2 years helped me to build confidence and taught me the importance of customer loyalty. So if you will see, this guy is using certain adjectives to define himself. He is using energetic, he is saying he is a good communicator, he is talking about his work experience, he worked in sales for 2 years, and he is talking about his confidence and the way he learned customer loyalty. So understand this entire speech. In this speech, what he is doing, he is revealing all his characteristics, he is talking about all his potentials, he is talking about all the strengths that he possesses. This is the way to introduce yourself. So there could be different aspects of introduction. So the first part of introduction could be about your name. You should start the introduction with a sort of thank. You should give a you should say that I am really thankful to get this opportunity to speak about myself. And then you should start talking about yourself. The first thing that you should talk about yourself is primarily about your name, if there is a meaning to the name. Then you can talk about your family background, and in your family background you should talk about various things that you have learned from your family. So if your father taught you something, if your mother taught you something, if your brother is in a position where actually you imitated him, you learned him, you followed him and you learned many things, then talk about those things in your family background. Then talk about, I would say, your achievements, whatever achievements you gathered in your life. Achievements could be some degree, some certificate, some sort of extracurricular activities. It could be some sort of extra skills that you have acquired. It could be a DCA, it could be a language skill or something else. It could be something related to sports. Then you should talk about your strength. You should talk about what are the strengths you have. And these are the strengths what he is talking about. And finally, you should sort of relate your personality to the job. So how you are related to the job. So job relation, which is important. All these things should be included in your introduction, because introduction is a point where you can actually offer proactively to provide certain information. This is an important part of the entire sales pitch that you prepare for an interview. So use your adjectives. So this guy is not using all these family backgrounds and other stuff, but he is primarily talking about his strength, and he is talking about how he is related to the job. So that's also fine. Now, if you look at the second example, he is saying I am punctual, I am dependable, I am reliable and can be counted upon. Counted upon matlab someone can rely on me to finish what I start. So, he is saying in one word, he is reliable, he is sincere. Now, he is saying I understand my customers' needs. He is trying to be brief, he is trying to talk about the requirements of the job that he is looking for. And this guy is saying I consider myself hardworking, reliable, dependable, helpful, outgoing, organized, honest, cooperative. So, as you see, introduction is a chance to put adjectives about yourself, to reveal your traits, reveal your characteristics, and you can also provide some additional information like family background and achievements and other thing. And whatever adjectives you are using here, you should have certain examples to support this. If you are saying that you are dependable, then you need to prove how you are dependable, what are the things that you have done in the past that makes you dependable. If you are saying I understand my customer needs, you need to give an example from the previous job where you tried to understand the customer needs and then fulfilled it. So, all these descriptions should be backed up with certain sort of examples. So, this is tell me about yourself. So, a brief introduction. If I will introduce myself. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amit Chaudhary. I am a professional trainer and teacher, and I worked in many of the international companies as brand manager and trainer, and I spent around 5 to 6 years in the rich corporate life, and then I moved to knowledge transfer, that's teaching. Today I am a mentor, I am an author, I am a teacher, I am a trainer. I do a lot of trainings, I do corporate trainings, I teach competitive English, and I am contributing in the growth of this knowledge industry. My strength is I am a creative person, so I always find new ways to teach things. So, creativity is something which helps me to understand the problems of the students and teach them in a new way, in an innovative way. So, I am an innovator, I am a creative person, and also I have certain amount of sincerity in me. So, I focus on my tasks. So, this is my introduction, and I believe in this quotation that once you have tested the test of sky, you will forever look up. Once you have realized the true potential of your dreams, your bigger dreams, then you never look down, you always aim high. So, this is my introduction. I avoided maybe my family background, which I can include. I can say that my father is a government servant and he taught me how to be honest despite being a government servant, and my mother is a homemaker. She taught me that education is not related to your learning. She is a very wise woman, although she is not very educated, not well educated, but that doesn't make any sort of difference in her personality. So, these are the things, and in achievements you can talk about what are the things you have done. So, this is tell me about yourself. Now, the second question that we are talking about, why did you leave your previous job? This is something which is common. They might ask you that why did you leave your previous job, or they might ask you why you left your graduation subject and you moved to some another subject in your post graduation, or they can ask you when you were doing your graduation in biology, then why are you coming for a banking examination or for SSC examination. So, this question is primarily related to shift of your career, shift of your choices, and you need to be very careful in answering this question. Always remember that you should not be a negative personality. You should not talk anything negative about your last subject or your last boss or your last organization or your last job. You should be saying that last job or last organization was good enough for me, but then I realized that I have certain extra additional potentials, and that I was looking to explore, and that's why I was looking to explore a new field, and that's why I am looking for a job in your company, because your company can offer me those additional advantages and opportunities to show my skill to you and contribute to the organization. So, you are trying to be positive about the last job, but again you are saying that this job is something additional which you are looking for. So, let us look at the example that he has given. He said that I have learned a lot from my current role, but now I am looking for a new challenge to broaden my horizons and to gain a new skill set, all of which I see the potential for in this job. So he is saying, he is actually talking about the last job, and he is saying the last job was a learning opportunity, but now he is looking for new opportunities, new challenges. So he is adding on something. Now let's look at this example. I am looking forward to better opportunity to grow in job wise and financial wise. I want to, so he is talking about better opportunities. He is not saying that last opportunity was not good enough. He is saying I was looking for better opportunities. I wanted to learn more things. So he is talking about his learning capabilities. So he is not demeaning the last organization. I am looking for a job where I can grow with the company. I am looking for a job that suits my qualifications. So my last job was actually I was able to realize some of my degrees, some of my potential, some of my skills in the last job, but this job offers me an opportunity which exactly suits my qualifications, so I can enrich my professional life. Now this, look at this answer very carefully, what he is talking about. I was laid off, मुझे निकाल दिया गया, made redundant, I didn't get any job in the last company because the company relocated, downsized was a cost curtailment and maybe churning out the employees, needed to cut cost. So he is putting a bit of negative shade to the answer. He is saying that he was actually laid off in the last job. This answer, we should try to avoid this sort of answer, but sometimes it's required to answer something like this because this is the truth. Say in Corona, during this Corona lockdown, many of us have lost our jobs. So if we go to another job, you might need to answer truthfully that you actually lost your job because of this Corona lockdown and because your company was avoiding some sort of manpower, and that's why you're looking for a fresh job. So sometimes you need to be truthful because people know it. So then your gimmickry and your maneuvers will not help you, your stratagems will not help you. So that time you need to be true, but be truthful, but again with positive words. So it should be sugar coated truth. You should not say that you are like useless in the last organization. You might say that in the economic slowdown you were not able to, in that scenario you were not able to contribute that much to the organization because you had to travel and there were restrictions and you wanted to follow those restrictions. So you had to put down your papers and now you are looking for a fresh opportunity with a good organization who can actually back up their employees even in the case of any tragedy. So this is why did you leave your previous job. Let's move to the third slide. What are you currently doing? My work is important to me, so instead of rushing to accept the first thing that comes my way, I am taking my time and being selective to make sure my next role is the right one. So now what this guy is saying, so the question is what are you currently doing, and currently you are not doing anything, you are just searching a job. So what will you answer? So this guy is he is not very straightforward. He is not saying that he is looking for a job, but he is like trying to put good words around this thing, and he is rephrasing the entire thing. He is saying that my work is very important to me, so I am looking for a better opportunity, and that's why I am trying to be selective. I am not accepting everything that's coming on my way. So this is another way of putting across that you don't have a job currently. I am working on several freelance projects while actively job seeking. This is one of the things you can answer, because when we are not working in an organization, we might do many of the content generation which are freelancing work. So you are like, maybe you are doing a sort of tuition, or maybe you are doing some sort of work which is an extra work, a project work or something. You can talk about those things. I am spending time being a stay-at-home mom and volunteering at my daughter's school. So this is an answer from a female who might have taken a sabbatical because of something, and now she is joining the job again. So she is saying that she was spending time with her daughter's education and stuff. I am taking some continuing education classes and seminars. This is something very important. Whenever you have a free period in your career, so you might have wasted 1 year or 2 years while you were preparing for some IIT or medical, so which you couldn't crack. So you have a gap year. Whenever they ask you anything about that gap year, you should be giving some explanation, you should show some involvement, you should say that you were involved in some sort of seminars, or you were enriching your career in some way, in your skills some way, you were attending some sort of extra classes in that period. So that will help you somewhere answer this question, that why there is a gap year. And when they ask you why have you changed your subject, say you did something in biology, then now you move to banking, why have you left biology, why did you go to banking, then you should talk about the benefits of the subject, the biology. You should say, while studying biology, I understood a lot of stuff, I understood about human composition, I understood that human beings are essentially equal and there is no difference between those human beings. I learned those things, I became an egalitarian person by reading biology, because I understood that human bodies are similar, so across all the continents, and I wanted to apply that learning that human beings are equal in serving people, and that is why I wanted to come to a financial sector where I can empower my customers by serving them and being completely non-discriminatory in my services. So this is about why did you, so you have to talk about the benefits of the subject that you left, and then you have to talk about how can you relate that subject, that learning, to the current banking job. Now you have seen what are you currently doing. The next question is, what do you find most rewarding about being in sales, marketing, HR and so on? Whenever they ask you this question, that about your domain, so you worked in marketing, you worked in banking, you worked in teaching, and they might ask you what did you find rewarding, most rewarding in that job. So the answer is, I really enjoy making contacts and spending time talking with people. So understand what are the activities of that job, and then mention that you actually enjoy those activities, because people, employers always like those people who give something, who give something extra. Employees who can give something extra are those employees who are actually interested in that job. So take your job as your hobby. So you need to establish that actually enjoy doing this job. It's not just 9 to 5 job, it's not just a white collar job. You are not grabbing this job just for the sake of remuneration or your salary or job security. You are joining this job because you are really impressed with the activities of that job. You find that job really nice because it empowers you and it helps you in helping other people. So he is saying, I really enjoy making contacts and spending time talking with people. The most rewarding part of being in sales for me is the time spent with customers. He enjoys spending time with customers, helping them make the right decision about a product. So he is empowering people, he is helping people, he is servicing people and enjoying it. And whenever you enjoy a job, your employer will select you. I am a people person. Now he is saying, I like being with people. I was always happiest and most satisfied when I was interacting with customers. He likes interacting with people, customers, making sure I was able to meet their needs and giving them the best possible customer experience. He is talking about he's interested in his customer experiences. I would like to stay in a field related to training. No matter what happens, I was too interested in business. So he is saying that he is passionate. Passion is the word. If you are showing that you are really passionate about something, it works. To work at a university, I was too interested in business to work at a university, but I believe that teaching is somewhere in my blood. He's talking about this is in my blood. This is something which I am an inherent teacher. I have been good at sales because I took the time to educate my clients. Now I look forward to training the new hires. He is a trainer. So he was a teacher. Now he was relating his abilities of teaching and training to this sales requirement because he can train new hires. So this is how you are going to talk about your last job, or maybe your last subject, or maybe the last field domain what you studied, right? So next question is, what are your strengths? Now understand, this is one of the most important questions in an interview. because your strength is something which you need to prove in an interview. So, how will you realize your strength? Because most of us don't realize our strength. If I ask you to talk about your strength, you might say that I am honest and I am punctual and I am hardworking. We don't find more than these 3 words, but these 3 words are very basic. So, we need to understand ourselves, to reveal ourselves better in proactively in an interview. So, I will always suggest you to prepare a SWOT matrix for yourself. Prepare a strength, weakness, opportunity, threat matrix. So, say I prepare this box. This matrix is very popular in all the management schools. So, this is strength. Strength comprises something which helps you in winning over other people. So, people liked you, you won certain things in your life, you got certain achievements in your life. All these things are happening because of your strengths. And the second thing is weakness. Here you need to talk about what are the shortcomings in your personality, right? And the third thing is opportunity. Opportunity is primarily something which you can use in the future. Say you are a person who is very confident in front of a camera, so that could be an opportunity for you, because now world is moving to online education, online interactions. YouTube videos are getting very popular. So, if you are very comfortable in front of a camera, that might help you in some sort of getting an opportunity to you, where you can use that camera and video making skills to influence people. So, that is an opportunity that can help you in the future. So, I would request you to prepare this chart: strength, weakness, opportunity. Don't talk about threat, because threat is not very important. Threat is sort of danger. So, what sort of threat we have? We all have this threat of corona, this lockdown, this economic slowdown, but this is almost equal for everyone. So, this is not very necessary to talk about, but you should talk about your strength. You should never reveal your weakness until asked, and you should understand your opportunities, things that are going to help you in the future. So, what are your strengths? I believe my strongest trait is my attention. He is saying my strongest trait is I am attentive to details. So, this is one thing which is he is talking about. He is not saying all those 100 words like discipline, sincere, honest, nothing. He is just saying I am attentive to details. This trait has helped me tremendously in the field of work. Now, the next question would come, how did it help? And then he would give some example. In the last job that I was about to commit some detail, but then I rechecked my accounts and realized there was some error, and I corrected it, and I saved my company millions. So, this is a way you should back up your traits. I have always been a great team player. I am good at keeping a team together and producing quality work in a team environment. So, he is talking about his team playing skill. He is saying that he is a he has interpersonal skills and he knows how to motivate people. So, he is talking about his interpersonal skill. I am an adaptable person. He is saying that he adjusts according to the situation. I work for 3 different managers in the last job. So immediately after his strength, he is giving an example. So, this example is very important, because every time you need to give an example to prove your strength. He is saying I work for 3 different managers. They have very different management styles and expectations from me. I am able to adjust my approach to meet each of their needs. So, he is saying that he fulfilled the requirements, the orders of all the 3 bosses. So, he is giving a practical example. This example can be checked. So, this is very authentic. This makes you very authentic. So, if you are saying you are punctual, you can't prove that thing, because how would you prove that you have been punctual all through your life? But if you say that you are innovative, then you can prove that. You can say that I am innovative, hence I discovered this sort of idea, or I created this sort of device, something like that. That is how you back up your claims. Now, the next question is, what are your weaknesses? Weakness is something you should be very careful about, because you should not reveal a weakness which is detrimental to the current job. Say you are looking for a job of interacting with people. You are going to say joining a job where you need to interact with people and serve them. You cannot say that I hate people. You cannot say चाटा मार देंगे, कोई 2 बार पूछेगा तो दोबारा मत पूछना. You can't say you are that sort of personality, that's completely against to that job, but you can say something which is like not impacting that job directly. So say this guy is saying, say this guy is going for a job where he need to interact one to one. So he might be sitting on a counter and talking to one person at a time. So he is never going to do any public speaking. So what he is saying, I have been very comfortable. I have never been very comfortable with public speaking. He is saying he doesn't like public speaking, which as you know can be a hindrance in the workplace. Realizing this was a problem, I asked my previous employer if I could enroll in a speech workshop. He said yes. I took the class and I was able to overcome my lifelong fear. Since then I have given lots of presentation to audiences of over 100 high level executives. I still don't love it, but no one else can tell. So see this guy, what he is doing, he is going for a job where he has to interact one to one with someone. He is going for a job where he doesn't require that public speaking. This is one to one interaction. So since this is one to one interaction, so he is talking about his public speaking. He is saying I am not very comfortable in public speaking because that's not going to hamper the job. But he again saying that he tried to overcome that weakness. So whenever you are mentioning your weakness, you should talk about how did you overcome that weakness. So he said that I asked my previous employer and he told me to go through some special workshop and then I learned a lot. Still I don't like public speaking, but somewhere I have improved my skills. Now this guy is saying I have been trouble in the past with planning and prioritization. Why is saying planning and prioritization? Because he might be going to a job where planning is not required. He is going to get a job which is primarily an implementation job. He might be going to a sales execution profile. So there is nothing related to the planning. There is nothing related to the prioritization. He is joining just an execution related job. That's why he is saying I have been trouble in the past with planning and prioritization. However, I am not taking steps to correct this. So whenever you are mentioning your weakness, you should immediately try to point out those ways and measures that you are taking to resolve that issue. I just started using a pocket planner. So he is giving a very practical example of pocket planner. These smaller details will help you in winning over the hearts of the interviewer. I might need to learn to be more flexible when things are not going according to plan. This is something I am working on at the moment. He is saying that he is not very flexible. He is like very perfectionist. He wants to complete his work on time, and whenever things are not happening according to his plan, he becomes irritated. This is one of the qualities that many of us who are hardworking people do have this quality. So this can be used. So I will always tell you that don't talk about a weakness which is not actually a weakness. So many times what people do, that they reveal their weakness in a way which is actually the strength. They might say, sir, I am very honest, that's my weakness, because I am so honest that people actually hate me for my honesty. Or someone can say I am very punctual, sir, because I am so punctual, that's why people hate me. Or someone might say जब जनरल आंसर मुझे मिलता है कि मैं तो लोगों को ना बोल ही नहीं पाता, I cannot say no to people. Or someone might answer that I actually rely too much on people, I believe. So see, these are the deceptive weaknesses I can make out if I am sitting in an interview and I hear you saying these answers. I understand that you are lying, because no one can be overly honest, no one can be overly punctual, no one can be overly emotional. We are all balanced, and if you are overly say emotional, that you are neurotic, then you are not fit for a job. So don't try to mention those weaknesses which are not actually weakness. You talk about those things which are actually real weakness. So if you are lazy, say that I am lazy, but then gives your countermeasures. Then you say that you are working efficiently to somewhere control that sort of laziness. If you are not very comfortable with numerical abilities, or if your analytical skills are not good, talk about. If your communication skills are not good, talk about those things. Definitely you should not ask about your weakness of communication skill when you are going for a job where your communication is required. So that's something a complete no, right? So this is about your weakness. So mention your true weakness and then offers a plan to counter that weakness, to overcome that weakness, right? So we are moving towards the next slide. We have seen weakness. Now this is, tell me about a different difficult situation you have faced. This is sort of a case based question. They might ask you a specific incidents in your previous job where you actually overcome some sort of trouble. This sort of answer, many times people don't have a real incidents, but they sort of create some sort of thing. That's okay, you can create an incident, but always a relation. Truth, a lie looks more reliable when it looks like a truth. I mean, if you are saying, if you have to say something which is not right, then try to speak in a way which looks almost fair, and then you have to mix facts and fiction in a proportion. आपको सच और गलत को इस तरीके से मिक्स करना होगा कि no one can make out. शायद आप खुद भी पता नहीं लगा पाए कि what's truth. So in my last job, I sometimes had to find answers to IT questions. I would often go on the internet, look for blogs on the topic I needed to learn about. I enjoy learning new things. So research is actually one of my hobbies. So while talking about a difficult situation in the last job, which is about answering IT questions, he tried to highlight one of his hobbies, one of his learning experiences. So this is something like you are trying to put something very positive in this question. Now this guy is saying, I have faced a number of difficult situations, but the one that comes to mind now is, and then describe the situation. You can describe any situation. I was able to deal with it by assessing the situation, determining the possible different approaches and deciding on the most effective one. So he is saying that he addressed the situation and he applied different approaches and finally he decided the most effective solution. I had to remain unemotional, emotional equilibrium, and objective and focused on a solution. So again, he is trying to give some positive connotation to the difficulty. So whenever you face a difficulty in your life, say this lockdown is a difficulty, but we are all learning some new capabilities during this trauma, during this catastrophe. I am a perfectionist and I may be too hard on myself or on my co-workers sometimes. So he is talking about again a sort of weakness, and then he's saying that this weakness, this being perfectionist is also a weakness because you have to keep moving. So he's saying he was a perfectionist, and because that he had some sort of ruckus with your employees. So this looks good. This is the 7th, and now we will move to the next question. Now the 8th question, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years from now? This is a question which is really troubling because actually we don't anticipate future, we don't know much about future, we are just looking for a job, we are looking for an immediate gratification. So sometimes it becomes really difficult that how would you answer something which is related to 3 to 5 years down the line, and they might ask you how would you feel after 10 years, what do you want to become after 10 years. These questions I would say are primarily fancy questions. They want to answer, they want to look for an answer which looks authentic. So don't say, you can't say in a filmy style कि सर 5 साल बाद मैं उस कुर्सी पे हूँगा जिस पे आप बैठे हैं. So don't say something like that, right? मैं अभी भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता. Sort of answer should not be given, right? You should give an answer which looks very authentic, which looks very practical, which looks achievable. You should talk about your goal in a way which looks genuine. So although it is hard to predict the future, so he is starting with the disclaimer that he doesn't know about the future. I sincerely believe, मैं believe करता हूँ, he is saying that I will become a very good financial consultant. So he is not talking about a position, he is not saying that I want to become the vice president of this company. He is just saying I want to become a good financial consultant, I want to do my job with perfection. I believe that my abilities will allow me to access to the point that I can seek other opportunities as a portfolio manager, the next step, and possibly even higher. So say what he's, look at what he is doing. He is actually presenting a ladder to the employer. He is saying that I understand today I am a customer service manager, tomorrow I will be a branch manager, and then I can move to a bigger financial role in your bank. So he is giving a sort of step by step escalation the way he want to arrive in his career. In 5 years, I see myself as a valued employee of a company. I want to be an expert at my position and start training to be a manager. So, he's giving a very open-ended answer, to be a manager. To be a manager means to be more responsible. He is not saying the exact definition, exact designation. He is saying he wants to be a manager, or he wants to be an expert. He is talking about his knowledge. So, focus on your knowledge, focus on your learning capabilities. My goal is to become a lead in 5 years. Although not everyone gets promoted to this level, I believe I achieve this goal through hard work. So, now he is saying that he can become a better employee in the future. Now, if you look at the next question, why should we hire you? So, no, there is another, what are your weaknesses? We have seen this, right? Now, this is question, why should we hire you? This question is again as important as the first question. The first question was, tell me about yourself or walk me through your resume. Now, this is as important. Why should we hire you? Again, you have to talk. So, you can look at most of the slides. We are talking about our strengths and trying to relate it to some difficulty, some problem, some situation. So, you have to have 4 or 5 strengths ready with you, which you can place in different answers. So, and you need to have evidence and examples to support that strength. So, I am a fast learner. He is saying I am a fast learner. I had to learn a totally new operating system in my last job, and I was up and running within a couple of weeks. So, this is relating the experiences of the past job with the current job. You require someone who can perform a wide range of administrative duties. So, he has gone through the job profile in detail. He understood what are the requirements of the job, and now he is talking about the requirements of the job and relating it to his strengths. He is saying I have a track record of carrying out 3 different tasks efficiently and successfully. So, he is again talking about he catered to 3 different domains in his last job. So, he is using the example from his last job to relate to this job. I have the right combination of skills and experience for this job. I also bring the additional quality of strong analytical He is talking about his differences, his USP. Remember this word USP, unique selling proposition. This is a very common phenomenon in marketing, unique selling proposition. You all have some uniqueness in you. You all have some unique proposition in you, and you will be paid for that proposition. You need to realize your potential, that unique trait that you have, and you have to highlight that trait. So, he is saying that he is the strong analytical skill and problem solving ability, and that will help him in growing this in this company. But these 9 questions are very generic questions, but there are certain tougher questions that they might ask you in an interview. They might ask you, why should we not hire you for this job? Or they might ask you some sort of creative question, on the spot question. They might try to organize a stress interview. So, there are different methods to answer these questions, and they might ask you something about general awareness or related to your graduation subject, or there could be different ways to answer these cryptic questions. So, we will be looking at more parts of this video of interview skills to understand how can we master the interview skill, and there will be more videos related to presentation skills, and there will be some videos on your descriptive, your capabilities to enhance your descriptive writing. So, we will be going through those videos. To summarize, I would like to say there are 2 ways to handle an interview. In an interview, either you can give the command to the interviewer. In an interview, you can either give the command to the interviewer, and they can ask you whatever they want to ask, and you might like fumble, or you might not answer all the questions. And the second way, to take the command and guide the interviewer in the right way, so that they can ask you questions which are interesting, which you are able to answer, and then you get selected. So, I would suggest you to adopt the second approach. Try to guide the interviewer, try to put those words, those strengths, those examples where you inspire or instigate the interviewer to ask you right questions. So, I always believe in controlling the process of interview as an interviewee. So, obviously, this is a skill, this is an art, this is a science that we learn incrementally, and that is how we will perform in our communication classes, right. So, we will catch up again, and I will try to reveal you certain ways of group discussions and stuff. So, and case study format is also very important, that is used in various of the corporate selections these days. So, stay tuned, subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon, you will get all the updates, download our CP app, Career Planner app, and be with us. Thank you.